Assalamu alaikum. Shakila manga the Houston protest Pakistan consulate sara live view मेहरबानी पेज मंगा link share कई और शकिला तो सिस्टम वाइल और इधर तक जिना
Walaikum assalam. Mutu Taraghliyu, Kadi we are here. Let me speak in English because I want everybody to understand. We are
sure.
here because our family is trapped in Afghanistan and we worked along our allies. The United States is our ally, an Afghan ally, and in a time where we needed it, we have been left there. So we're trying to help our family, first of all, come here. And second, we want to hold Pakistan accountable for their actions, for what they're about to do, and hope that we can stop them and sanction them. That way, we can stop all of this Taliban movement. This is not just a human rights issue. It absolutely is a human rights issue, but rightfully, we have been very, very peaceful with our allies. Pakistan is the only one that's causing so much terrorism in the area, and nobody is even paying attention to that right now. This is a very important time in history, not just for Afghanistan, but for the allies of the United States of America. It's hard to trust your allies when they don't stand behind you. So the whole world is watching. They're watching what America and its allies are doing.
Um,
So
yes, the world
trust
is
it.
watching, but I'm sorry to interrupt you. I had a question.
But as a humanitarian and as a woman, I am hoping women globally will stand with us. I want to thank all the iconic women. I want to thank Hillary Clinton. I want to thank Angelina Jolie for supporting our cause because this is a human rights issue, but this is also a women's rights issue, a women's rights to education, to basic rights. Those are all hanging in balance right now. And it's very, very important that we stand globally with women everywhere and try to take this subject very, very seriously. Pakistan has Here we are.
True. Can you hear me, Shakila?
Yes.
I
Can you
had a
hear me?
question. You mentioned earlier that the world is watching. We have been hearing this for a few decades now that the world is watching. In the United States, is giving its statements that the world is watching. How long are they gonna watch it? Because it has been almost half a century. Are they gonna do like a full century watching and no action?
That is a good question. So let me educate you a little bit about this. Globally, since 1947, and Pakistan has gained its independence, they have been terrorizing India. That's quite a while, right? That's one of their neighbors, their allies. Then the Bangladesh. Since 1971, they killed 3 million of their citizens. Sri Lanka, another Pakistani citizen. Here in the United States, after 9/11, every act of terrorism has a Pakistani signature on it. So, world leaders, you are watching right now. I just want you to understand this. If you don't stop this right now, this could become the next catastrophic move, and the whole planet will be affected. We just dealt with a pandemic. I don't want my children and our children's children to see this planet what it's going to go through for something nuclear. You know, there's an arsenal over there in Pakistan. The Taliban are gaining a whole lot of movement in Pakistan as well because these are militant Pakistani citizens. Everyone knows this. This is a known fact. I don't have to tell you this. You can pick up any paper, any article, and see this fact. So, okay, they have in the last few years placed important key people that are extremists, okay, in the parliament. So now these Pakistani people together is going to take this area, this part of the world, to the dark ages. Are we looking for another Armageddon? Is it going to be war, religious war? So I don't know. You tell me. I have someone else here who would like to speak about this.
Sure. Please, can I have their views too?
Women, girls, and my generation as women, an American, an Afghan. The bravery of women in Afghanistan has humbled me. Globally, women outnumber men. yet our rights are being sacrificed every day. Madam Vice President, I voted for you because you're a woman and a leader. Today I ask iconic women like Michelle Obama, Oprah, women who I looked up to growing up. Together we can help my generation and your daughters globally. We can change history. I want to experience equality and gift it to the next generation. My mother always told me to fight like a girl. Today I want all women on earth to stand with me and fight for girls. Thank you.
That's a very good speech. I know we all stand with you and we're with you in this fight. We will never let you down. You can count on your brothers from all over the world, the people who are advocating women's rights. We're all with you in this fight. We will never let
Thank
you
you.
down.
We need that.
Um,
Thank you.
yes, where are you guys holding this demonstration at this moment?
Houston, the Pakistani consulate, right in front of it.
Pakistan!
What do you want from Pakistan?
Pakistan! Murdabad! Pakistan! Murdabad! ISI! Murdabad! ISI! Murdabad!
Can you hear me, Shakila?
Murdabad! Taliban! Murdabad! Taliban! Murdabad! Pakistan!
Can you hear me, Shakila?
Terrorist! Terrorist! Pakistan! Terrorist! Pakistan! Terrorist! Pakistan! Terrorist! Pakistan! Terrorist! 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 Pakistan!
Can you hear me, Shakila?
Terrorist! Terrorist! Pakistan! Terrorist!
Oh, there you.
Pakistan!
I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. What do you want from Pakistan?
I want the citizens of Pakistan to wake up, especially the intellectuals, the people that really want best for Pakistan. Those people need to stand up right now. If they continue to do what they're doing around the world, they will be greatly affected. And they know this. It is very scary to be an intellectual citizen of Pakistan right now who wants to hold that country in this age. I don't know. I would like to believe that you want to be globally a peaceful nation, but this is not what you're doing. The last few years, you have shown that you want to terrorize the whole world. You want to take occupation. You want to create fear. You want to take human rights to a whole different level. I think every Pakistani citizen should be very, very scared to not go back to the dark ages. Look at what happened to Iran. Does Pakistani citizen want to happen what happened to Iran in the 1970s? I don't think they're ready for that. I don't think they understand that this is going to happen. So people are not prepared. Do we not remember the citizens of Iran in the beginning were with them? They were with Ayatollah Khomeini because they thought he was a savior. A lot of those people in Pakistan that think that Taliban are the savior, you need to wake up. These are not your saviors. In a few years, they're going to take all your rights. Women's rights, human rights, and then think about all of your art. The first thing they did when they entered Afghanistan, they started burning music. Your culture, your history, your education. You're going to lose so much. You need to.
I understand your emotions, and I get your point. But one thing that is a pretty hot topic in social media is it has been said that Pakistan or ISI has hijacked 38 million people. Like there is no food supplies coming into those 38 million people, no money, no work opportunity. What are the consequences of world sanctioning Afghanistan instead of doing the same thing should have happened to Pakistan? Because that's where the main support is coming from, these proxies. So what are the consequences for these 38 million people? Are they gonna suffer and die from hunger in Afghanistan? Because it's pretty short. Like economically, it's not very stable. With all these sanctions, the banks are closed and no work opportunity. What are the consequences for them?
Okay. You know, as an intellectual person, you can believe what you want to believe, but I don't believe that. Before in the 90s, they could have pulled this kind of invasion because back in the 90s, the world, Afghanistan actually, let's just say Afghanistan, the people who had gone through war, they hadn't really seen the world through our eyes yet. They haven't seen anything. So being in that misery and being uneducated and being forced to do things and running that type of government, that worked at the time. But now for the last 20 years, these people have freedom. They had education. They've seen things in the world that they should have had the right to see from the very beginning. You cannot give people freedom and then take it away. I guarantee you this. 35 million people, they still need to have the ability to govern us. They still need to have the ability to run the hospitals, the banking system, the government offices, the defense ministry. These are all jobs that they have to be able to have the ability to move forward with. And if you don't have skilled individuals to run this, who are you running this with? They need the people of Afghanistan. They need our soldiers. They need our women. They need all of those aspects in order to run a functional government. 35 million people cannot be silenced. Look at what happened on Independence Day on the 19th. How many young men gave up their lives because of a flag? Because they have honor, they have pride. This is how our parents, our grandparents, this is what they bled for. This is what they believed in. It's not just simply a flag. This is a part of our belief system. How can you call yourself Muslim, put your flag on, but our flag has the kalima on it too? So you're going to throw that on the ground? You cannot govern 35 million people like that, and you cannot starve them. So a warning to the Taliban: if you think you, and ISI, if you think you want to shut off the supply line, all of these things that you're doing, the world is, yes, watching you, but they're going to come together against you. Not just for humanitarian reasons, but for the purpose of these 35 million people are going to rise. You can't keep them down and not feed them. Eventually, that's going to work against you. You can't fight that many people. You can't shoot that many people. You don't have enough bullets. If every single one citizen of Afghanistan right now rose against that government, look at what happened in history. This has happened before. The power of the people, don't ever forget. It's we, the people. We have more power than people think that we do, together, collectively. So when we demand human rights, when we demand women's rights, you need to come to the table and negotiate with us. We're not the terrorists. We're not fighting you with guns and swords. We are sitting down with you and fighting you with a pen. So you need to have enough honor if you're saying you're an honorable man. I've been watching these videos of these Taliban, very educated people. You know, at first we were all fighting this and that, but I'm listening to these videos and you seem very logical. But are you? Nobody believes you anymore. We never did. We don't trust you because of your actions. So far, since this invasion, look at the actions that you are showing us and to the world. You are not showing us that you're a humanitarian. You are taking little girls out of their homes. You're taking what was our soldiers that fought for its nation, that their government told them what to do, and you're assassinating them. That is not a peaceful negotiation by any means. So if the United States of America negotiated with this kind of people, they made a mistake. They found that mistake a few days ago when we lost 13 servicemen. Those were somebody's children. So America has woken up a little bit, but we don't want another 9/11. We want to avoid that. So please, world leaders everywhere, you need to stand with us. Our allies, you need to stand with us. Sanctioning Pakistan, boycotting them, cutting off their money is the most fastest way, is most effective way to stop them. You need to stop the flow of money.
Support in New York, okay?
Thank you
I'm
very
going
much.
next week.
Alright.
Just send me the message so I can make that.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I lost internet connection. I'm back now. Um,
Did you
can you
get any of
interview?
that?
Yes, it was live, but I was disconnected. Um, can you interview some more people and show us the banners and flags? What is their message?
Sure.
The willingness of the U.S. Army or government. So, what would you?
Where are you from?
Well, I'm American, but my origin lies in Punjab, which is part of Pakistan.
Well, thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
Hi, brother. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from India.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay Hill.
Jai Hind. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm here in support of the Afghan people. Afghanistan has been taken over by Pakistan by proxy. Taliban is nothing but an arm of Pakistani army and intelligence agencies. And we need freedom for Afghanistan, and especially we need freedom for women of Afghanistan. There have been atrocities against Afghan women. There has been a lot of progress that they have made over the last few decades. Now all that will go out of the window when Taliban is taking over. We need freedom for Afghan women, and we need Taliban out of Afghanistan completely. And as Indians, as Hindus, we stand in solidarity with the people of Afghanistan, and we want freedom for Afghanistan. Thank you.
We also have Mariam. Let's listen to her. What is her perspective and what's her message?
इसके पीछे वर्दी है, ये जो दहशतगर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है.
Hi.
Hello, Mariam. Can you hear us? What is your message? What do you stand for?
Well, we're here for Afghan women and Afghan kids. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Terrorist, terrorist, Pakistan terrorist. Who is killing in Afghanistan?
We have to get this.
Who is killing in Balochistan?
Can you hear me?
Who is killing in Pashtunistan?
Shakila, I'll have to mute you for a second so we can
Okay.
have Mariam's perspective. We have
No,
your
it's okay.
picture,
You can
Shakila.
talk to. It's okay. You can talk to other people. I'll wait.
Okay. No, there's demonstration is going on, so that's going to be a long day for us. But we want to hear from you.
I'm so happy that you're over there and you're getting the protesters. It's so imperative that we give the voiceless a voice. Everyone's focused on Kabul airport and nobody is focused on the humanitarian side of the approximate 38 million people that are over there. It's the situation in Kabul is really bad. Everybody that I knew at the statewide government station, Tarizuna Mili, RTA, the 200 most vulnerable journalists and media personnel that have been there for a long time, they keep going from house to house to house, and the international community has forgotten them, and they as well as all the other Afghan government employees. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about was the media in Afghanistan. And then the second thing was, the first thing was the humanitarian crisis. We have a population that's 80% under the age of 30 years old. And not many people know that. And it is really, really imperative that we get the Muslim and non-Muslim and other organizations that help humanitarian aid over there. I was seeing on Instagram float around that there were military MREs floating, and they were being distributed to people, but they were pork. So we're having a really bad situation where it's great that the U.S. military is trying to throw MREs at people. It's bad that it's pork. It's sad that we have no way to get over there except for dropping in the sky food. There's a real catastrophe approaching. The banks have run out of money in Kabul. The Western Union is not working over there. So we're getting people that only have cash on their hands and we can't give money to them. So this is one plea from the international community that we have to get foreign aid into Afghanistan. That's one thing. The second thing is that we need the banks open there for people to be able to get money. If there's no U.S. money or any kind of money there, if the U.S. has to not freeze the funds. The third thing is that as far as Afghan women and Afghan kids go, we can't just let them just stay there. We can't just watch them die. There needs to we need the UN. We need the UN to have some accountability for us. We need NATO to step up. We need our congressmen and our senators here to stand up in front of the Biden administration. Everybody that's there at the protest right now, we really appreciate everyone to support Afghan rights. Afghan lives matter just like any other race. It's not fair that we're going to go through another brain drain. Our people have seen 40 years of war. This new generation there has had opportunities for Fulbright scholarships. So these are our best and brightest that are trying to get out of Kabul right now. These are lawyers, engineers, doctors. These are people trying to leave the country. We're going to have another brain drain. It's bad that the Taliban have taken over our culture, our land, and now our religion. It's now that they've overthrown our government, we have to preserve what we have left. Everyone that's out there at the protest today, I'm very happy. I'm just thinking out loud. You want to give over the mic to someone else, Abdul Rahman?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to, I don't want to interrupt you. I had one more question. We see sanctions that's supposed to be on Pakistan. Instead, the world has sanctioned Afghan people who has been hijacked by Pakistani ISI. So the Pakistani has supported these proxies, and now they have taken over Afghanistan. And all the border has been closed. The same thing I've discussed with Shakila too. And on the other side, from the Western world, like United Nations, they have frozen their aid to Afghanistan. United States has frozen. All these nations has frozen their aid in support to Afghanistan. What they should have done it to Pakistan. Well, those 38 million people are innocent. They don't have anything or any way to get out of there to find a job to support themselves. So how are they going to survive?
So protests like this that say sanction Pakistan, why are we sanctioning Pakistan? Is that what you're trying to ask? What would happen if the US put sanction on Pakistan?
What I'm saying is, why did the world sanction Afghanistan? Because the United Nations frozen their aid, the IMF, to Afghanistan. United States has sanctioned Afghanistan. Why are they sanctioning Afghanistan, those poor people? Why they're cutting ties with Afghanistan? What they should have done.
The international community needs to wake up. Specifically, the Americans need to realize that Pakistan is not our ally. They have been playing a double-sided sword for the last 2 decades. If you want to point fingers at accountability, it's not that Afghan people don't like Pakistani people. Let's be fair. They have about 2 to 3 million refugees in Pakistan. The problem with Pakistan is that it's their government. ISI needs to be sanctioned. They harbor currently 15 terror organizations that are in Afghanistan, not Taliban. We have Pakistan ISI has created and distributed all the way through Afghanistan 15 terror organizations. It's not the Taliban only. The American community needs to wake up. They need to realize that putting sanctions on Afghanistan is not going to get rid of terror organizations in Afghanistan. If the world wants to eradicate terrorism, they need to do what? The US needs to put sanctions on Pakistan. What this will prevent is a secure South Asian region. You won't have Taliban going into Kashmir. You won't have Taliban making deals with IGRC of Iran and send them into Syria and then possibly Palestine. This is going to create, if we don't sanction Pakistan, this terror factory that ISI has created over the last 2 decades of funding 15 terror organizations will never stop. freezing freezing American assets, freezing the Afghan banks and putting sanctions, that won't stop the terrorism. What will stop true terrorism if the Pakistani ISI is sanctioned and the US doubles down and the international community recognizes that Pakistan had made this deal to legitimize the Afghan government and overthrow them and legitimize their Taliban puppet government that they've overthrown. I'm sorry. They have created this Taliban puppet government that they want legitimized, the government of Pakistan. They have sided with the US's enemies, Russia and China and Iran. If they were really our allies, they wouldn't be creating this. So it's going to cause a big headache for India, a bigger headache for Afghanistan, for Kashmir. They will go, and that region will be unstable completely. And so people need to realize that if we do not sanction Pakistan, 15 terror organizations that they have now will never stop.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let's hear from Shakila if she can interview a few people at the demonstration and hear their voice, why they're out there in this heat.
Okay, good luck. Take care.
Thank you for joining us. You're on, Shakila.
चीन क्या चाहता है आजादी आजादी बलूचिस्तान क्या चाहता है आजादी आजादी पाकिस्तान से आजादी मुर्दाबाद 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 पाकिस्तान मुर्दाबाद 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 पाकिस्तान मुर्दाबाद being an Afghan you have been abandoned by
Where's the next 9/11?
Huh?
Where's the next 9/11?
We know it.
It's coming from Pakistan.
Who did 9/11? Osama, Laden bin Osama, right? Where we found Osama? Atmabad in Pakistan. Right.
Atmabad, Abbottabad. Exactly, Abbottabad.
So,
we have comments from our friend. I just want to show them what they are calling. Everyone is calling sanctions to Pakistan.
Not just in and then after the U.S. president does not have any issue with the Taliban, and CIA chiefs recently visited Kabul and had discussion with Taliban. So it seems that in globally, no country talking against Taliban. So why is just few countries talking against Taliban?
Every country talk about these terrorist groups, including America, and that's why they are still fighting. They had a drone attack yesterday morning on the Taliban. So America is not pro-Taliban. But why the Afghan government, the president, run away? Because he wanted to avoid the bloodshed in Afghanistan, which we had in the last 20 years. He said, I'm going to hand over the Taliban.
The attack was done by ISIS, and actually the attack was not on Taliban. So the US government is...
For those of you who wants to join us, I have posted a link. You can copy this link and join us so we can hear from you and your insights from all over the world. It doesn't matter. The whole world stands with Afghanistan today, with Afghans today, because they have been the victims of these terrorist organizations for about 45 years. So we would like to hear from you. The link is posted. You can join us. Yes, Shakila, we can hear you.
The question was, why did the intelligence go through? Why is the whole world watching? Why are they allowing this to happen? My answer is different than everybody else's, but I believe that the world leadership right now is sitting silently because they think this is just an Afghanistan issue, when they know this is not an Afghanistan issue. You cannot move an entire army across a border and nobody knows it. Look at what happened this morning or yesterday with the drone attack, right? They say with the drone attack, they went ahead and took out the 2 people that attacked the servicemen, correct? Am I not correct? Right? So if you could do that, how come you couldn't take out the Taliban, their source lines? How come you couldn't do that? You had those same drones. You had that same intelligence. You are telling me that you did not see a movement on that side of the border with thousands of people moving equipment, people, weapons across that border. So it's not because you couldn't stop them, it's because you didn't. Correct? So right now, this, yes, it's an Afghanistan issue. But very soon, our allies are going to find out it's going to be their issue as well. Because right there, India is there, correct? That's their enemy for how long? 1947. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka is right there. You want them to join forces with Iran? Do we want to do that? They really, the people that at the moment, I saw a video yesterday that was released by the Taliban. Now, I don't know how accurate this is, or I don't know the date of this video. And there's two Taliban sitting down, and they're talking about as soon as we get a go, they're going to kill certain people, like the Hazaras, and I believe they said the Uzbeks, the Tajiks. These are minority groups, right? And then they said the Shiites. These are all minority groups. So how can we trust this? How can the world sit there and think that, don't think about humanitarian. Look at globally how the effect is going to be. If them and Iran get together, then you put a nuclear arsenal in their hand. When this administration leaves, the next administration is going to deal with what? Our children are going to see what kind of war?
It's going to be nuclear. And then we wouldn't know,
and
we can't even hold anyone accountable because they would be nuclear is fired by non-state organization. So how are we going to hold accountable for?
Right now, you have to hold the administration accountable because this administration handed the key to the Taliban, correct? The Biden administration. The next election is around the corner, is it not? And the next election, whoever is running needs to be very, very aware of this. If they stand with us and they get rid of Taliban and this regime, they will have the key to the White House and they will be the leader of the free world. We know this. This is a fact. So in solidarity, whoever the strongest president, the next strongest president is, they need to come out and take care of this problem and stand with us. It's the only way to defeat this. Did you see the speech that President Biden gave the other night? Do we want our enemies to see? You need to see the speech that President Biden gave, okay?
We can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
You good now.
Okay. So in this speech, President Biden was speaking, right? And in this speech, he looked so defeated. This is an American president. We are supposed to be strong. We're the leader of the free world, right? Why? Our enemies watching us. China's watching us. Russia's watching us. Pakistan, the military, everybody's watching us. Every terrorist group watch that. We need a president that can be, like, think about this. Throughout history, we had some very, very strong presidents. But the Republican Party had some, and the Democratic Party had some. But obviously, this administration is having issue with foreign policy. Okay? I have not studied foreign policy in my lifetime, but I understand military policy and I understand other policies. But I also understand terms and negotiations. What did we just negotiate? You handed the key to a terrorist. You took 4 presidents, 20 years, killed servicemen, American soldiers, Afghan soldiers. We were your allies, for God's sakes. America will not be trusted around the world. How can our allies trust us? How can they trust in our system? How can they stand behind us? Because when things happen, we leave them. This is what we do. This is what America do. Do you know right now our allies are watching us? They're watching the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, about to lose its membership. It's about to lose its allies because this administration is not strong enough to stand behind its allies. They left Bagram Airport in the middle of the night. That is unthinkable. We have soldiers
one more
all
thing,
over
I'm
the
sorry
world.
for interrupting you, Shakila. One more thing I wanted to ask. From being a world citizen, so we need to ask ourselves that question: what is the problem in that region with Pakistan? They have issues with Afghanistan. They have problems with Baloch. They have problems with PTM. they have problems Kashmir with India. So what is Pakistan trying to achieve? Like, you can't have problem with everyone around you.
You mean all your
That's not
neighbors,
how the world works.
all your allies, all your friends, the people that you sit down with, negotiate with. I understand. This is a very serious question that you're asking right now. Everybody should be asking that question. For so long, America has supplied, trained, and funded, our different administrations have funded um, these Pakistani militant groups. In the beginning, it was towards because we were going to war against Russia, and there was a big move, and it changed the whole history of the war when the United States gave us air missiles, correct? That changed it for the Mujahideen. But when the Mujahideen left, large factions of these groups were still there, and they made a significant amount of money out of Afghanistan in the opium trade, through other different, business ordeals that they had. So when the Taliban were dismantled and the new government came, they started doing a lot of deals with India because there was a trust issue with Pakistan, correct? And then a lot of contracts went to India, a lot of resources, a lot of money. So their money supply from Afghanistan stopped. And that was not acceptable to them. So they found ways through those militant groups to create different kinds of situations. 7/11 was a day that happened in England, I believe. You could check that. And they had like their 9/11. So I'm telling you, every single signature since 9/11 that has been an act of terror has been committed by Pakistan. And these I think it's 200 active groups of militant groups that are right now in Pakistan. But the world kept an eye closed on it because it was America's friend. It was their ally. And they wanted a support in that part of the world because they're close to Iran. They can keep an eye on them. And they didn't want mischief in that part of the world. But what they didn't understand is they're feeding a wolf. You can't feed a wolf. Because right now, the administration, I believe, and I think the people of population, citizen, whatever you want to call it, of Pakistan, they believe this too. Since Imran Khan has taken over, these groups have come up to power. Okay, they funded his elections. His average citizen, the middle class, has changed into poverty. Right now, all those middle class that were middle class right now, they're hurting for jobs. And his poor are getting poor. Now that he has problems in Pashtunistan, he has problem with Sindh, he has problem with almost the Balochistan. That's almost three different fractions in his own country. And now he wants to go send militant to Afghanistan. You cannot split an internal military in 4 ways. If every single one of these citizens in these groups stand up and ask for rights, since they've been doing genocide on them all this time, Pakistan cannot withhold that. Pakistan is a ticking time bomb that is waiting to be exploded from within. The average citizen in Pakistan, the educated one, they should really be scared at this time in history. Because if Pakistan goes into these hands of these militants and these extremists, and they're getting funded from every militant Islamic group around the world, what is going to happen to the future of Pakistan? Is it going to turn into this dark state where everybody's living in fear, their citizens are scared because it's going to turn into a militant monarchy? What is it going to turn into? Does it not want advancement in the world? Does it not want to come up in the world in Asia and be a real power? Or does it just want to create fear and terrorism, and that's how they want to make their money? Because that's not acceptable to the rest of the planet. And as the leaders of the planet, we need to look into that, seriously look into it. Because they're trying to create an Armageddon and a religious war. We don't need that. The world has come too forward educationally. We have globally have come too forward to step back centuries. We cannot do that. We cannot allow this government.
I think we lost connection with Shakila. She'll be back soon. Those of you who wants to join us and raise your voice in support of Afghanistan and the world peace, please, there is a link shared. You can click on that link, copy that, and paste it in your any browser you're using, and we will have you live, and so we can hear from your perspective too. Please do join us and support. Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, I have you back. Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Well, that was a lot of information and a lot of emotions.
Yes.
But I think
Can
we have been emotional. So
Yes,
sorry about
we
that.
understand you. Can we interview a few of the demonstrators
Yes,
so we can hear from them?
I think they're in the middle of these interviews as well between each other.
Those of you who are watching us and want to join us, you can copy the link in the comments that I have. Copy that and
Invite
paste
him.
it. I see so many people are trying to um, join me, but please join us through
Hey,
the link. Yes, we can hear you.
hi, yeah. So we are against here against the global terrorism and Pakistan being always nurturing terrorism for so long since always they have been taking the funding from US on name of mitigating terrorism, but they are spreading terrorism. We have seen Osama bin Laden just at the Adbabad near the military headquarters in their protection and shelter. It's shame that we have pumped like billions of dollars from our hard taxpayer earned money, and they were using it against us only, and they were killing the US people as well as the other people across the globe. So we need to stop Pakistan funding spreading global terrorism. As a matter of fact, they have made the terrorism nurturing as state policy. A country just, they are going to nurture the terrorists. That's how they earn money. And this is the few people, let's say in military or so, or the politician who get the money in their pocket. And that's why they are actually putting all their people of Pakistan also in danger. People of Pakistan need to understand that this is the biggest conspiracy of those few people who get the money on the name of funding in their deep pocket, and they keep on spreading terrorism, putting the Pakistani people also under threat, as well as they train the people from Pakistan to become terrorists and spread it across the world. So we are here to oppose the global terrorism nurtured by the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, the Consulate General of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That's what, where we are in front of them. We are just standing against them, firm to say our message crystal clear for global humanity.
Um, Looking at the Pakistanis' perspective, they believe they can dictate that area by keeping them in the dark. Do you think dictatorship is going to work in this time and era, or it's democracy is a better option for them?
So when you say dictatorship, whose dictatorship Pakistan is saying?
Yes, because they have a democratic forum, but as we know, their civil government is not in control. So the ISI is running everything. So that's sort
Oh,
of dictatorism. Do you think that is gonna work for long?
you are so right. Actually, you have hit on the nail. So when this election happened in Pakistan, the ISI and the army, they rigged the election for Imran Khan, and they have forcefully made the Imran Khan as president, who has got no idea. And think about this: that after becoming Pakistan Prime Minister, he framed the Pulwama terrorist attack, and he was thinking that he will play like victim card and saying that, oh, the Bharat, the India did attack on its own soldier because there's election. So these kind of, I don't have word for them. I cannot use in the public space. But these kind of idiots, they are the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So the Prime Minister of Bharat, India said, Narendra Modi said that, hey, if you are trying to do reverse swing, we know how to play helicopter shot. And the Indian Air Force attacked in Balakot, going inside the Pakistan, and Pakistanis were thinking, oh, this is the Pakistani Air Force protecting them. No, no one under the sun can protect you if you do terrorism against any country. We will find you from where you are hiding. You can be in Balakot, 350 terrorists celebrating the Pulwama attack. We will kill you. Those those bastardized people who are against humanity, right? We cannot be against the humanity values, and they need to be killed. So you are so right. This rigging in election and having Imran Khan as the prime minister, that was very bad idea for their civil leadership. And you are so right. After Uri attack, Prime Minister Modi, he has mentioned that, hey, Awam of Pakistan, that means say people of Pakistan, if you really like to fight, come together. We will join you in the fight against poverty. We will fight against the ladies that while they are pregnant. We will fight against the malnutrition. There are enough things to fight against for the betterment of Pakistan and Bharat and the region and the globe. But you should not kill the other person. You should not make the terrorism as a state policy. And the Pakistan has attacked. You take it like Kenya, Indonesia, Malaysia, UK, Pentagon, they have attacked twice in early 90s. They have attacked in UK, Glasgow attack. They attack everywhere. They attack France. You see this Paris t-shirt because the France is also against terrorism. And after Uri attack, the France categorically named that, hey, these Pakistani terrorist organizations should be banned and they should be there should be sanctions against Pakistan. Just now, in geopolitical situation, China is also coming into this trap of good terrorism, bad terrorism. There cannot be good terrorism, bad terrorism. As Prime Minister of Bharat, India, Narendra Modi said, terrorism is terrorism. Now China is supporting like Ajaz Masood and other people. China has placed the veto. China will taste find the taste of its own pill some particular day. If they are supporting these terrorists in any form, in form of veto, to take the sanction against Pakistan, or in the FAFT meeting, or in the different platforms, China is also coming into trap. And how they are supporting terrorism, China is becoming one of the biggest threat supporting terrorists for the whole world. So that also needs to be fixed.
Yes, very good speech. Thank you for joining us. Shakila, can you show us a few banners of the demonstrators? See what are they carrying?
Let me say this.
इस्लामाबाद के जनरल्स हैं जिन्होंने पाकिस्तानी गवर्नमेंट पे कब्जा किया हुआ है। पाकिस्तानी हुकूमत जो है वो इन जनरल्स के बल पे चलती है। सिविलियन ओहदों पे भी जनरल कायम है। क्या आप बता सकते हैं कि एक जनरल के पास क्या काबिलियत है कि वो वाटर एंड पावर अथॉरिटी का चेयरमैन बना दिया जाता है, जबकि उसने सिर्फ एफए पास किया है? ये काबिलियत है। और जो जूनियर और जो पीपल जो क्वालिफाइड है वो सड़कों पे धक्के खाने की कोई जॉबें नहीं मिलती इन लोगों को।
Can you give us a street view where you guys are located?
वो कहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान खुशहाल है, नया पाकिस्तान है।
This is the Pakistani in front of the Pakistani consulate.
Okay, so the demonstration has been held in front of Pakistani's consulate, and there are people came out in support of Afghans to stop killing Afghans and stop supporting Taliban.
Yes.
So their message that they're standing here
Yes.
So Pakistan accepted it because they thought we'll get some money so that we can propagate war against, especially Kashmir and other things, and we get at the negotiation table.
Haqqani is the same Haqqani, a part of the Taliban, whatever.
No, he was Pakistan's ambassador to US. Hussein Haqqani.
My question is that even the United States, the United Nations, even India, everyone declared Haqqani as a terrorist person.
That is like that.
And now he's a part of, he's in senior position in Taliban. And India.
Okay. It's time out for me.
Yes, thank you, Shakila. Thank you for your time. We're gonna wait for more friends to join us.
Okay.
Okay, so that was Shakila keeping us updated from Houston protest. We'll be right back with you. We're gonna cut this one. Please share our link.